God bless you, American people, the American government, public, police officers, teachers, firemen, postal carriers, all out there across America. God bless you, pastors, saints, and churches. John chapter 1, verse 18. No man have seen God at any time, John the Baptist said. That's not contradictory. We said that John was not a man when the Lord sent him, all right, to make Jesus. In verse 33, 133, he that sent me to baptize with water said unto me, John 1:33. So you say, how can John say no man have seen him? And yet here in 133 he said, he that sent me to baptize with water said unto me. But John was not a man at the time that God sent him at that time to baptize with water, to make Jesus manifested to the children of Israel there in the Jordan River, when the Father verified it by saying, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. But you can take that same statement on over to Revelation chapter 4, and we'll just go there briefly. Revelation chapter 4, and when he said, no man have seen God at any time, that's John the Baptist saying. But in chapter 4, he said, beginning at verse 2, Revelation, immediately I was in the Spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne, verse 3. And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone. So here, John the evangelist, or John the apostle, is showing the description of God sitting on the throne. And let's not forget what Jesus told the apostles. He who has seen me has seen the Father. All right? But this is John the Baptist speaking in verse 18. No man have seen God at any time. And we said that he had a diet. Wild locusts, honey and wild locusts. Wild honey and locusts. Strange thing about that is, God said, I will give you a land flowing with milk and honey. And yet, honey was John the Baptist's diet. A lot of knowledge in there. A lot of wisdom in there. To show you what God is doing, how God does things. We said that God told Moses, you're not going to go into the promised land. And he didn't. Until Jesus came and brought him to Mount Hermon, the northern part. All right? So you need to understand this great knowledge that God is sending down to you pastors. And I'm speaking basically to the pastors because you who want to learn this knowledge, you'll understand the planet Earth thoroughly. You'll understand the planet Earth fully. You'll understand the planet Earth totally and beyond. You're going beyond the solar system. You're going beyond the Milky Way. And you have to do that. Why? Because the Bible said these things are going to pass away. And you're still trying to send your children or the flock or the sheep into places that's going to pass away. Woe be unto pastors that lead prophets too. Don't forget them. Priests too. Don't forget them. Jeremiah 23. Look out there what it says now. All right. He says, stand in my counsel and hear me. Stay in my counsel and keep my word. If they had stayed in my counsel, they would not have caused my sheep to go astray. But because they did not stay in my counsel, and they dreamed dreams out of their own hearts, that they spoke to the people to turn the people away from me so that the people will not be saved, and he that believeth on me sanctified himself, and sanctified me as well. Something is wrong, you don't understand these things. Something is wrong, you don't understand the heavens over your head. Something is wrong, you don't understand the planet Earth beneath your feet. Something is wrong, you don't understand the stars in the sky. Something is wrong, you don't understand the heavens themselves. But the greater wrong is you don't know God. You say you do, you think you do. John the Baptist here said, no man has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him. Now, two major things that Jesus declared. One is here when John said that the Son who is in the bosom of the Father declared the Father. Now, that's not difficult to understand because Jesus kept telling the apostles, I am in my Father. I am in my Father. I am in my Father. I am in my Father, and the Father's in me. He is in the bosom of the Father. The other major thing is found in 1 John. We're going to go there briefly. 1 John 1 and 5, and this is what it says. In 1 John chapter 1, verse 5. This then is the message which we have heard of him and declare unto you, that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. We've gone through this so many times. He declared unto them that God is light. He declared unto them the Father out from the bosom of the Father. He said, I came from God, and I came from the Father. I was sent from God, and I came forth from the Father. This knowledge is not going to change. I mean, being a rocket scientist don't change this knowledge. Being a chemist don't change this knowledge. Being a scientist in the robotics do not change this knowledge. All right? You can go off into space in a Saturn rocket. You can go off in space in the Orion vessel that they are now preparing to enter into the next generation. But that's not going to change this knowledge. And speaking of Orion, the O-R-I-O-N, which is found in the scripture, you need to understand the key of the kingdom of heaven and what it is all about, and how Orion can play a part in that. But you need to know. But if you don't have the knowledge, how can you know? You need to have the knowledge, and you cannot have God's knowledge if God don't teach you his knowledge. God, as a matter of fact, what he said, ye need not that man should teach you anything, for I, the Lord thy God, will teach you all things. It will no longer be said, know the Lord, for they all shall know me, from the least of them to the greatest. All right? In the bosom of the Father. Think about that. In the bosom of the Father. Well, what about the higher understanding on that too? He's in the bosom of the Father. Ephesians 1 and 3. We are in his bosom in heavenly places. We'll continue this later on. God bless you, global Christian friends and the American government.